Can you run the template Charlie 74407? She on a red light on Holbrook and Gallagher. Doesn't have a driver license, no registration, nothing at all. Does have a template. I was able to see it, so I'm just running it. And she has only school ID right now.
One's out with it.
So I'm gonna run her real quick. She's been cool with me so far.
Sounds good.
I'm getting no record.
Yeah, because he's not running it right.
10-4. You can disregard that. I got it. Thank you though. Have her step us. 2 other people in the car. Alright, man. So I'm gonna have you step out because you don't have a date of birth in there. So what's your date of birth for? Yep. Because I don't know who you are at this moment. So as soon as I have information, then you can come back. Okay. You'll have to step out for a second, okay?
I don't feel comfortable stepping out my vehicle. I will give you my date of birth, my social, whatever you need, but I don't feel comfortable stepping out my vehicle.
I'm talking to her right now. I can't talk to 3 people at the same time, all right? So I'm talking to her right now, the driver. I don't need you guys to interfere here. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, Alicia.
All right. All right. Sounds good to me. But you have to put the window down. Thank you. If you want to just stand by here.
I don't feel comfortable.
That's up to her.
I do not feel comfortable exiting my car.
Yeah, but
I'm not
Listen.
exiting my car.
If you don't come out of the car, you're going to be arrested.
Yes, I do. What though?
Because she's asking you to step out of the car. I will not. You got to come out of the car right now. Undo your seatbelt and come out of the car.
No, call your supervisor. I'm not stepping out of the car.
You don't have a license and nobody knows who you are.
so
I just gave her my
listen.
You're arguing.
All right. Listen to me. We're not gonna argue here, okay? I just need to know who she is. So for now, she's not. No, she has to stay right in front of my vehicle right now. She'll have, ma'am. I'm gonna tell you one more time. If not, I get it. Okay.
We're not talking to either of you. Only
talking
her.
to her.
Everybody go back in your seats.
She has a problem. She goes to the hospital to anything like that.
Yeah, go ahead and lock the step out for me, ma'am.
Call your supervisor. Thank you.
Please, no, she has a problem. She
Call your
cannot.
supervisor. I want to speak to your
Your window's going to be broken and you're going to be taken out of the car.
You're gonna go to jail if you don't come out of the vehicle. All right? So this is the last time I'm gonna tell you. She has to get out. I'm talking to her right now.
I have PTSD. I need to speak to your supervisor. I am not stepping out the car until your supervisor can hear. Thank you. I'm sorry, nobody, listen, she wants my phone because she needs.
That's okay. Just sit in your seat. You're gonna get yourself in trouble. That's all that is.
Listen, I went to school for criminal justice. I know the law. I know everything. I'm good. I'm
The
straight.
driver
I
is
know
responsible,
anything
not you.
wrong. I know anything wrong. We can talk to you too. I don't have to be silent and happy.
Just so you know, you have to get out. Otherwise, we're going to break the window and we're going to take you out. I don't have to. How old are you guys?
But they're being aggressive. Like, they're being aggressive. We don't have the physical copy.
Okay.
I told her.
Do you want me to take your phone?
Yes.
Okay.
I gave her
This is as least aggressive as any of us can be, I promise you.
You got we're telling you that we're.
I'm not here to discuss my tone with you. If the police... No, you guys listen. If the police say get out of the car, you have to get out of the car.
I have rights. I have what you talking about. Y'all even have problems. Hold on.
She's refusing to get out, so is she under arrest, what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Not under arrest. How can I be under arrest?
You're driving without a license.
Call your supervisor.
You're going to be removed from the car if you don't open the door.
Call your supervisor. I'm not. You won't have to drag me out this car. Call your.
I have a good time. I have a breaker as well. Here, let me go get my gloves.
Okay. If you don't step out of the car, we're going to break the window and we're going to remove you from the vehicle. You're going to be arrested for felony
I want
obstruction.
your supervisor. Are you
I
a
understand
supervisor?
that. I don't need to provide
Are you a supervisor?
No, I'm not required to
I'm
provide
8
you.
months pregnant in this car, and I don't want to be. I don't want it to escalate.
Okay.
I'm trying to get home and meet my sister.
Okay.
Then she
You
has
don't
to.
have
She
I
has
have
the
a right
ID.
to call your supervisor. Why can't you call your supervisor?
Well, I'm not
I'm trying to
required to
get
do
home.
so.
Yes, you are. If I feel like I'm unsafe, I don't feel safe.
We're going to break your window.
We're going to break the window if you don't step out of the
And then you're coming out anyway. So
Okay, you're under arrest for...
You know what? I'm gone. I'm gone. Just
No,
take my
for
car
what? When
home.
is she under arrest?
Take my car home.
get out of the car
When is she under arrest?
now.
for driving without a license. Step out of
Can
the
you
car.
call your supervisor?
No,
Get out of
step
the
out of the
car.
car.
We're not gonna
She just graduated college.
Can you call your supervisor? Don't reach your window. My window. Do not reach my window.
car fleeing now. A&B and appeal times 3. Northbound Conant.
Keep going down. Stay down.
Get my
Stay
sister.
down.
Get my sister. She's pregnant. She needs
You're fine. Stay down.
Emily.
It's on the way. You guys caused a lot of problems right now.
That's my. Y'all trying to
Ambulance
kill
on the
us.
way.
Y'all, we see people getting killed every
Ambulance
day by
is on the
y'all.
way.
Y'all tried to kill us.
Stay down, please. I don't want to hurt you.
I can't.
I don't want to hurt you. Stay down.
I need to be in a position, my baby. It was in the seat.
How far are you?
I'm 88 months. She needs to get up. She didn't do shit.
Ambulance is on the
We just
way.
came from the hospital. She got to get up.
I'm not gonna do
She
that.
didn't-
Okay, just sit. Sit
No,
on your body.
I can't.
Okay, sit on your body. EMS is on the way.
I gotta see.
EMS is on the way.
Help. Come get my sister. Call Mark. Where's Mark? Can she get her phone?
No, right now it's
need
a lot
her
of.
phone.
I understand. You guys are not listening. Down.
She need her phone.
Sit
No, she's
down.
pregnant.
You
They
guys probably
kill
can't-
us. They always kill us.
Chill. Nobody's killing you.
gonna kill- y'all
Don't cause us
always
a problem.
kill
Nobody's
people.
gonna do nothing stupid to
Y'all
you.
are gonna kill us.
No one is gonna kill
He
you.
was
No
gonna
one.
kill us.
If you would have followed order, none of this would have happened.
As officers struggle to contain and calm the women who just caused the horrific scene, other officers make a grim discovery.
No, we can't do anything. We're not gonna be able to get them out. There's no way. The car's too deep in. Yeah, 2Ks.
They was okay. I'm not gonna do that. Can you stand by with her?
And
All
she should
this
have listened. She
bullshit.
killed
Ouch.
somebody.
She would.
She probably killed somebody.
No. You got to get her out the car.
Sit.
Why are you being so aggressive?
Because you
Let me
got
tell you
her.
something.
I'm not- you're not
I know you're
listening.
having a hard day.
You're not
But
listening.
listen, I am. I'm not moving nowhere. I just look over and you pushing me. I'm not trying
I'm
to
not
move
putting. I'm
nowhere.
just telling you to sit. You keep not listening.
Excuse me.
October 10th, 2024, Hamtramck, Michigan. Officers with the Hamtramck Police Department initiate a traffic stop after observing a vehicle disregarding a solid red traffic signal at the intersection of Holbrook and Gallagher. The vehicle is also noted to be operating without a displayed registration plate. At the time of the stop, officers have no information beyond the observed traffic violations and the absence of visible registration. The events that follow are not known to the officers at this point, and the initial moments unfold as a routine enforcement action. The stop takes place in the evening hours. Officers position their patrol vehicles behind the stopped car and begin standard procedures. According to radio traffic captured later, the driver does not possess a valid driver's license and is unable to provide vehicle registration documentation. The driver is only able to present a school identification card. The initial face-to-face contact between officers and the driver is not captured on body-worn camera footage, as body cameras were not activated during the earliest moments of the stop. Over the radio, one officer reports the observed violation of a red light and confirms that the vehicle has no visible license plate. Another officer advises that the driver has no driver's license, no registration, and no identifying information beyond a school ID. The officer states that the vehicle does display a temporary plate, which he is attempting to run through the system to determine its validity. He notes that the driver has been cooperative up to that point. Dispatch attempts to run the temporary plate information. An officer comments that the system is not returning a record at first, then clarifies that the plate is not being entered correctly. After further attempts, the plate is successfully run. According to the police report, the temporary plate comes back registered to a 2013 Chrysler Town & Country, not to the Chevrolet Trailblazer that officers have stopped. This discrepancy becomes relevant as officers continue their investigation. During this time, officers note that there are multiple occupants in the vehicle. In addition to the driver, there are at least 2 passengers present. Officers also observe other individuals nearby in the area. The driver is still seated inside the vehicle. An officer states that the driver's date of birth is not listed in the system and that he cannot verify her identity at that moment. Based on the lack of identification and inability to confirm who the driver is, the officer decides to have the driver step out of the vehicle. An officer approaches the driver's side window and explains that because there is no date of birth available and no verified identity, the driver will need to step out of the vehicle temporarily. The officer tells her that once he is able to identify her, she can return to the car. He explains that at that moment, he does not know who she is. The driver responds that she does not feel comfortable stepping out of her vehicle. She asks if the officer can take her information while she remains inside the car. As the officer attempts to continue speaking with the driver, one of the passengers begins to speak from inside the vehicle. The officer responds by stating that he is currently talking to the driver and cannot speak to multiple people at the same time. He instructs the passengers not to interfere and asks them to remain seated. The officer's focus remains on the driver, and he reiterates that he needs her to step out of the vehicle so he can identify her. The driver again states that she does not feel comfortable exiting the car. The officer acknowledges her statement but explains that it is necessary for her to step out. He tells her that if she refuses to comply, she will be arrested. Another officer joins in, reinforcing the command and instructing the driver to unbuckle her seatbelt and exit the vehicle. The driver refuses and asks for a supervisor to be called to the scene. Officers explain that she does not have a driver's license and that they do not know who she is. They tell her that she must come out of the vehicle. The driver continues to refuse, stating that she has given her argument and is not going to step out. Officers tell the passengers again that they are not being addressed and that only the driver is being spoken to. They instruct everyone else to remain in their seats. The driver continues to request a supervisor and states that she has a problem exiting the vehicle. Officers warn her that if she does not comply, the window will be broken and she will be removed from the car. She responds by again asking for a supervisor and stating that she will not step out until one arrives. She tells officers that she has PTSD and repeats that she is not exiting the vehicle until a supervisor is present. Officers tell her that they are not going to argue and that they simply need to identify her. They repeat the order to step out of the vehicle. The driver continues to refuse. Officers again warn her that her window will be broken and she will be taken out of the car if she does not comply. They also state that she will go to jail if she does not exit the vehicle. As the exchange continues, the driver asserts that she knows the law and references having studied criminal justice. Officers respond by explaining that the driver is responsible for the vehicle and that she must comply with lawful orders. An officer states that under Pennsylvania v. Mims, lawfully detained drivers are required to step out of a vehicle when ordered by police, and that Michigan law only requires reasonable suspicion to conduct a traffic stop, not probable cause. The driver reacts with confusion and continues to refuse. Officers discuss whether the driver is under arrest. One officer states that she is not under arrest at that moment, while another clarifies that she is driving without a license. The driver continues to demand a supervisor and refuses to open the door. Officers again warn her that they will break the window and remove her from the vehicle if she does not comply. She states that they will have to drag her out of the car. An officer retrieves gloves and advises that if she does not step out, the window will be broken and she will be removed and arrested. The driver says she understands but maintains her refusal. She asks again if the officer speaking to her is a supervisor and states that there is a pregnant passenger in the car and that she does not want the situation to escalate. Officers repeat that she must exit the vehicle. The warnings continue. Officers state clearly that the window will be broken if she does not step out. The driver continues to refuse. At this point, the standoff remains unresolved, with the driver still inside the vehicle, officers issuing repeated lawful commands, and tensions increasing as compliance does not occur. The situation remains contained at the traffic stop location, with officers positioned around the vehicle and passengers still inside. No force has yet been used, but officers have clearly communicated that forced removal will occur if the driver does not comply. The driver's refusal continues as the encounter moves toward a critical turning point. Officers remain positioned around the vehicle, maintaining focus on the driver while attempting to control the involvement of the passengers. The driver remains seated behind the wheel, seatbelt still on, window partially down. Officers again advise her that she is required to exit the vehicle and that refusal will result in the window being broken and her removal from the car. She responds by reiterating her request for a supervisor and stating that she does not have to comply if she feels unsafe. As officers speak, the passengers continue to interject. Officers repeatedly instruct them to stop speaking and remain seated, emphasizing that the driver is the only person they are addressing. The driver continues to argue that she knows the law, referencing Supreme Court case law and her own criminal justice education. Officers respond by restating that the traffic stop is lawful and that she is required to comply with the order to step out. One officer explains again that the driver does not have a valid license and that her identity cannot be confirmed. The driver disputes the process and continues to refuse to unlock the door or remove her seatbelt. Officers make it clear that continued refusal will escalate the situation. They issue a final warning that the window will be broken if she does not exit voluntarily. The driver again asks for a supervisor and states that she will not exit the vehicle. Officers advise that a supervisor is not required to be called before enforcing a lawful order. They repeat that the driver is being ordered to exit the vehicle. The driver states that she's trying to get home and does not want the situation to escalate further. Officers respond that compliance will resolve the situation, but refusal will lead to arrest. As the exchange continues, one officer states that the driver is under arrest for driving without a license if she does not comply. The driver challenges this statement, asking how she can be under arrest while still inside the vehicle. Officers tell her that she will be removed from the car if she does not open the door. The driver continues to refuse and states that officers will have to drag her out. An officer prepares to break the window, advising the driver again of what is about to happen. The driver continues to resist verbally, stating that she understands but will not comply. The passengers become more vocal, expressing concern and repeatedly stating that there is a pregnant woman in the vehicle. Officers instruct the passengers to remain quiet and seated, warning that continued interference could lead to additional consequences. At this moment, the situation remains tense but stationary. Officers are still attempting to gain compliance without force. The driver continues to refuse, and the threat of forced removal remains imminent. Officers issue another final command to exit the vehicle. Suddenly, the situation changes. Without warning, the vehicle accelerates away from the stop location. Officers immediately recognize that the driver has fled the traffic stop. One officer shouts that the vehicle is taking off. Radio traffic confirms that the car is fleeing northbound, and officers begin to pursue. Over the radio, officers broadcast that the fleeing vehicle is traveling northbound at approximately 60 miles per hour. They report that the vehicle is slowing briefly for red lights but continues at high speed through intersections. Officers relay street names and directions as the pursuit continues, noting that the vehicle is traveling northbound through multiple roadways. During the pursuit, officers report that an object is thrown from the fleeing vehicle near the area of Harold. The pursuit continues through residential and commercial areas, with officers providing real-time updates on speed and direction. The vehicle continues northbound, passing through additional intersections at high speed. Officers continue to follow as the vehicle approaches Carpenter and then Charles. The reported speed remains around 60 miles per hour. The pursuit remains active, with officers maintaining visual contact and radio communication. Traffic conditions and intersections are noted as the vehicle continues through the area. Moments later, officers report that the fleeing vehicle has crashed. Radio traffic indicates that the vehicle has gone northbound toward Davidson and McNichols before the crash occurs. Officers announce that the pursuit has ended due to a crash and that units are responding to the scene. Upon arrival at the crash site, officers observe significant damage. The vehicle appears heavily impacted and is positioned in a manner that suggests severe force. Officers quickly move to secure the scene and assess the occupants of the fleeing vehicle. They also begin issuing commands to individuals outside the vehicle. Officers instruct occupants and bystanders to get on the ground. Commands are shouted repeatedly to ensure compliance and scene control. Officers direct individuals to the floor and tell them to keep their hands visible. Some individuals begin screaming and shouting, stating that the driver did nothing wrong. Officers continue to issue commands, prioritizing control and safety. Passengers are removed from the vehicle or directed away from it. Officers assist individuals who appear injured, telling them to sit or stay down as directed. One officer instructs another to stay with a male individual while additional officers assess the scene. Officers tell individuals to remain seated and not to move. Passengers shout that one of the women is pregnant and needs help. Officers respond that medical assistance is on the way and continue to instruct individuals to remain still. Officers repeatedly state that EMS has been called and is responding. They emphasize that the scene needs to remain controlled to prevent further harm. One individual appears distressed and repeatedly states that officers are trying to hurt them. Officers respond by telling them to calm down and reassuring them that medical help is coming. Officers state that no one is trying to hurt anyone and that compliance is necessary to keep the situation under control. As officers work to contain the immediate chaos, they become aware of the severity of the crash. One officer states that the vehicle is too damaged to remove someone from it safely at that moment. Another officer notes that the car is too deeply impacted. Officers recognize that specialized equipment will be needed to continue rescue efforts. Despite the chaos, officers continue to issue commands, attempting to calm the passengers and bystanders. They repeat that EMS is on the way and instruct individuals to stay down or seated as directed. The escalation that began with refusal at a traffic stop has now expanded into a major crash scene with multiple injured parties and significant damage. The situation remains active and unstable as officers transition from pursuit to crash response, preparing for the next critical phase of the incident. Several individuals are on the ground or seated nearby, some yelling, others crying. Officers direct one individual to sit with a male passenger, while another officer moves closer to the crashed vehicle to check on the occupants still inside. Commands to keep hands visible are repeated as officers work to separate injured parties from bystanders. One passenger repeatedly states that the driver did nothing wrong and that she is pregnant. Officers respond by telling the individual to stay down and not move. Another officer assists a woman who appears to be struggling to stand, guiding her to a seated position and telling her to remain there. Officers continue to reassure those present that medical help is coming and that an ambulance has been requested. As officers focus on the crashed vehicle, they note that it is heavily damaged and positioned in a way that makes immediate extraction difficult. An officer states that there is no way to get one of the occupants out at that moment due to how deeply the car is impacted. Another officer confirms that specialized rescue tools will be required. Officers relay this information while maintaining scene control. Passengers continue to shout that the pregnant woman needs help and that she cannot stay on the ground. Officers respond that EMS is on the way and instruct them again to remain calm. One officer tells an individual that continued yelling is causing more problems and urges them to relax. Another officer reassures a distressed passenger that no one is trying to hurt them and that the situation is being handled. As officers attempt to calm the scene, emotional outbursts continue. Some individuals accuse officers of trying to kill them, stating that people are killed by police every day. Officers respond by telling them to calm down and stating that no one is being harmed intentionally. They emphasize that compliance is necessary and that EMS is responding. During this time, officers discover the extent of the damage caused by the crash. While some officers remain with the surviving occupants and bystanders, others move to assess the vehicles involved in the collision. The seriousness of the scene becomes increasingly clear as officers recognize that there are victims who cannot be immediately assisted. Officers continue managing the passengers from the fleeing vehicle. One woman asks to get up and is told to stay down until it is safe. Another officer assists a woman who appears injured, telling her to sit back and wait for medical personnel. Officers repeatedly state that EMS is on the way and that everyone needs to remain where they are. One individual asks to call someone for help and to retrieve a phone. Officers deny the request at that moment, explaining that the scene is still being secured. Another individual asks for shoes, stating that she is barefoot. Officers tell her that shoes are not being retrieved at that time and instruct her to keep moving as directed. As officers continue separating individuals, one woman is escorted away from the immediate crash area. She continues to speak, stating that officers were being aggressive and that she was afraid. Officers respond by instructing her to keep walking and remain calm. They tell her that arguing at that moment is not helping the situation. Attention shifts back to the crashed vehicle. Officers confirm that additional passengers were inside. They begin coordinating with arriving medical responders and fire personnel. An officer asks about seatbelt use, and responses from passengers are inconsistent. Officers note the information but do not draw conclusions. Fire and EMS personnel arrive and begin evaluating the injured. Officers step back slightly to allow medical teams access while maintaining security. One officer reports that a passenger's ankle appears broken. Another officer asks where it hurts most, and the passenger reports pain in her legs. EMS prepares to begin treatment. Rescue personnel determine that extrication tools, commonly referred to as the jaws of life, are needed to safely remove at least one occupant from the vehicle. Officers relay this information and continue to keep bystanders and passengers at a distance. One officer tells a passenger that they need to wait and that medical professionals are now handling the situation. As EMS works, officers continue documenting and managing the scene. One officer discusses transportation arrangements for a detained individual, asking whether another officer wants to transport her to the station or if he should do it himself. They agree that she will be transported by police. The individual asks for her phone and states that she has the right to know what she is under arrest for. Officers do not engage in an argument and continue with the process. Officers involved in the pursuit are later treated for minor injuries and transported to the hospital as a precaution. At the scene, police remain focused on ensuring that medical care is provided and that the area is secured. The immediate crisis transitions from active pursuit and crash response to medical treatment and investigation. As EMS continues working, officers gather identifying information from the surviving passengers. One passenger is identified as the front seat passenger. She is later transported to the Hamtramck police station for further questioning. Another passenger, seated in the rear at the time of the crash, is identified and later released to her parents. The resolution phase at the scene continues as injured individuals are treated and transported. Officers maintain control until all parties are accounted for and medical responders have taken over care. The crash scene remains active as investigators begin documenting evidence, vehicle positions, and damage. The critical moment that began with refusal during a traffic stop has now fully transitioned into a secured crash scene, with law enforcement and emergency services coordinating the aftermath of a pursuit that ended in fatal consequences. Following the stabilization of the crash scene, officers begin the formal aftermath phase of the incident. With emergency medical personnel actively treating the injured and fire crews working to extricate occupants from the vehicle, investigators start documenting what occurred. The area remains secured as police collect statements, identify individuals involved, and preserve evidence related to the pursuit and collision. The severity of the crash becomes fully apparent as responders determine that 2 community members involved in the collision did not survive. Victims are later identified as 37-year-old Dr. Sue John Mia and his 73-year-old father, MD Norm Mia. Their deaths are confirmed at the scene. Officers shipped into a fatal crash investigation protocol, coordinating with detectives and other responding agencies. The front seat passenger from the fleeing vehicle is identified as Ikea King. She is transported to the Hamtramck police station, where she is interviewed by Detroit Police Department detectives. During the interview, she admits to striking an officer's hand during the earlier portion of the incident. Hamtramck police request charges related to her actions during the encounter. Those charge requests are later denied by the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. A review of available court records shows no relevant filings related to this incident in Hamtramck District Court, Detroit District Court, or Wayne County Circuit Court. Following the incident, she is cited separately for driving without a valid license. She remains presumed innocent unless proven guilty in court. The rear passenger, identified as Alicia, is not charged with any crime stemming from the incident. After receiving medical attention and being assessed at the scene, she is released into the custody of her parents. No further enforcement action is taken against her in connection with the events of that night. According to local media reporting, the unborn child referenced repeatedly during the incident does not survive. This outcome is noted as part of the broader impact of the crash and its consequences. The driver of the fleeing vehicle is identified as Aaliyah Glenn. Following the incident, she is charged with multiple felonies. These include 2 counts of fleeing and eluding police causing death, 2 counts of reckless driving causing death, 2 counts of operating while license suspended, revoked, or denied causing death, and 2 counts of assaulting police causing injury. The charges reflect both the pursuit and the resulting fatalities. Court proceedings move forward in the months following the crash. Aaliyah Glenn enters a no-contest plea. As part of the legal process, the less serious charges related to driving while license suspended and reckless operation causing injury are dismissed. The remaining charges proceed to sentencing. On May 30, 2025, Aaliyah Glenn was sentenced to a term of 7 to 15 years in state prison. In addition to the prison sentence, she is ordered to pay $334 in fines. Under the terms of the sentence, she becomes eligible for parole on May 29, 2032. If parole is not granted, she could remain incarcerated until May 29, 2040. Officers involved in the pursuit and crash response are treated for minor injuries and transported to the hospital as a precautionary measure in accordance with department policy. No officers are reported to have sustained life-threatening injuries during the incident. With medical treatment completed, injured survivors transported, and the scene documented, the roadway is eventually cleared. Vehicles are removed, evidence is logged, and the formal investigation continues through standard administrative and legal channels. Reports are finalized, interviews are conducted, and the case proceeds through the judicial system based on the documented facts and charges. The incident, which began as a routine traffic stop for a red light violation and missing registration plate, concludes with long-term consequences for multiple families and members of the community. The sequence of events is preserved through body-worn camera footage, radio traffic, police reports, and court records, forming a complete record of what occurred on October 10, 2024.